What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Double Dribble and another episode of our 2022 NBA Draft Player Breakdown series. In today's episode, we have a super interesting prospect. He's one that is projected to be a top 4 through 8 pick in this year's NBA Draft without playing a single minute in college. His most recent play has been him, playing at the high school level. And that player is Shaedon Sharpe. He's a 6'6", 200-pound shooting guard from Kentucky. He was at the University of Kentucky, but transferred there halfway through the season after reclassifying in high school. He went to Kentucky around January, and it was decided that he wasn't going to play any minutes for them and was going to return for the 2022-2023 season. But just recently, he has declared for the NBA draft, plans to hire an agent and stay in the draft. So his days of playing college basketball are kind of gone, and there's no really return for him to Kentucky. He's going to be staying in the draft, and he's going to be a top 4 through 8 pick in this year's draft. So let's go ahead and look at some of Shaedon Sharpe's strengths. So one of the strengths, or the biggest thing that jumps out at you about Shaedon Sharpe, is his body. He's got all the physical tools to be an elite player at the NBA level. I mean, 6'6", 200-pound shooting guard. He's got good length to him. I mean, he's got really strong lower body. He's got strong upper body. He's really just got the physical tools to be someone that's extremely effective at the NBA level and someone that is elite at the NBA level. And that's, kind of one of the biggest things that jumps out at you is just his body and the physicality and just kind of the physical presence that he plays with, or that he did play with in high school. Obviously, we didn't get to see that at college and see how he, fared against other college and high Division I basketball players. But just looking at him and watching him play, he's got good size, broad shoulders. He's got good, strong upper body, strong lower body, and that's going to allow him to transition to the NBA, pretty well and pretty quickly, and adapt to the physicality of that. Along with that, he's just kind of a scorer. He's a natural scorer. He's a good slasher, getting to the rim. He's not the most elite athlete, but he's got really good, athletic ability. He can throw down some just monstrous dunks and ones with just power, ones that'll make the whole building shake after he kind of punches one home. So he's got good athletic ability. He's a good slasher, getting in the rim. He's a good cutter. He just kind of knows how to score the ball. And then on the defensive side, he's got all the tools to be a really good defender at the NBA level. One that can really guard wings at a high rate. He's got good length, size. And I think if he, has the mentality that he wants to be a really good defender at the NBA level, I think he can be. Because like I said, he's got all the tools. I think he's got the IQ. He just really needs to, have the want to and the will and the drive, to be a really good defender at the NBA level. But one of the biggest things, like I said, is just his physical tools that are going to allow him to transition into the NBA and be someone that adapts to the speed and the physicality of the NBA, a lot faster than some other prospects might. So looking at Shaedon Sharpe's weaknesses, one of the first things that necessarily isn't a weakness of his game, but that something is going to hold him back in this year's draft, or might make teams question draft him, is the fact that we haven't seen him play, other than in high school. He hasn't played at the college level. He didn't play in the G League, anything like that. The last time we've seen him play would be when he gets drafted about a year ago at the high school level. And I think that might be something that teams are going to question if they want to draft him. If he's a player that they want to pick up, or if they're going to pick up a player that has played in college and has proven that they can play against other highly ranked top Division I college basketball players, and kind of other grown men other than just playing at the high school level and against high schoolers. So that's not a weakness of his game necessarily, but one of the biggest things that might, if he does fall in this year's NBA draft, which I don't think he will, but if he were to, I think that would really be the biggest reason, and not necessarily just a weakness of his game. But looking at some of the weaknesses, so he still is, developing. Obviously, the last time we see him play was as a high schooler, so he was still, developing his ball handling, his playmaking. And then outside shooting, he has progressed a lot over the years as a jump shooter, but I think that he still has a lot of work to do and a lot of growth to continue to have on his jump shot and being someone that can consistently knock down, an NBA range 3-point shot. He's not necessarily a pure shooter. He's pretty streaky so far, but he can get hot at times. So I think he just needs to continue to develop his jump shot. Like I said, over his high school career, we've seen him develop that and become a better shooter as time went on. And I suspect that will continue to happen, and he'll continue to improve, on his jump shot. And then, also with that, just continue to work on his ball handling, his playmaking. He can be a little wild at times, turn the ball over, try to make the flashy play instead of just the right play. And then he can, overshoot the ball at times, and he could work on his shot selection. Obviously, that will translate or be fixed in the NBA. He's playing with other NBA players, whereas in high school, he was always the best player on the floor, was able to kind of just take whatever shot he wanted, so that kind of led to some poor shots sometimes, where I think at the NBA level, in an NBA system and with other NBA players, he's not necessarily going to be the best player on the court at all times, so he can't just take a bunch of wild shots. So I suspect that to kind of be solved once he gets in the NBA. So, like I said, I don't think there's a whole lot of glaring weaknesses to his game. He just needs to continue to develop, his shooting, his playmaking, and kind of just his ball handling and decision making. And I think that he'll continue to do that at the NBA level. So in conclusion, Shaedon Sharpe is an extremely intriguing prospect in this year's NBA draft. It'll be really interesting to see what NBA teams do with him, and if they will pick him up as high as the 4th pick in this year's draft, or if he will fall to maybe that 8 to 10 range, since he hasn't played in college yet. It'll be really interesting to see what teams do. He's super intriguing just with his physical, tools and his kind of NBA-ready body in high school. Like I said, just kind of will be interesting to see, since he hasn't played in college or anything above the high school level, what teams will decide to do. But I think that he has a lot of the tools to be a great elite player in the NBA. It'll just be, how much he develops and how he kind of fits in with the team and in a system, and which team drafts him. But I want to hear from all you guys in the comment section down below. Let me hear your thoughts on Shaedon Sharpe. Would you pick him as high as the 4th pick, or would you kind of wait till he's in that 8 to 10 range? Leave that all in the comment section down below. As always, make sure you hit the like button on this video, hit that subscribe button, join the channel, share this video with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.